एसो पञ्चणमुक्कारो सवपावपणासनो मङ्गलां च सव्वेसिं पढमं हवै मङ्गलम् पढमं हवै मङ्गलम्.
Vandami Navam Swami. So to our thank you so much for joining. And Vandami's the reason I'm greeting them with Vandami Namam Swami is because Shramni ji's in our culture we greet them with Vandami Namam Swami as the word. I respect everybody to I request everybody to mute yourself, please. And if you're joining, I'll have my team mute you for now as well, so we don't have cross connectivity issues. Okay. All right. So I'll tell you guys about our respected speakers today, Samini Samatva Pragya ji and Samini Abhay Pragya ji. They are both Jain nuns. They are disciples of His Holiness Acharya Shri Mahashraman ji. They are MA, so that is like a master's degree in Jain philosophy and competitive religion. So pretty educated themselves. They have expertise in yoga, meditation, Jain and Indian philosophy. They're pretty good scholars as well. They have conducted camps on various topics, including Jain philosophy, yoga and praksha meditation, development in virtues and personality, and management of various ailment and challenges, including stress, anger, etc. So very learned scholars. And then I have personally attended a shiver with them. So blessed to hear them in that shiver. And I'm telling you, that was a transformative shiver for me. Today's session, I think, as we all know, the Jain festival of Paryushan is approaching us, and we are all very excited, and Jains like celebrate this as a festival of soul during these 8 days of Paryushan. So we wanted to organize a kind of Q&A session because a lot of us have questions about Paryushan. A lot of times we know that this is Paryushan, but we don't know the significance, what it means. How can we do tapasya? What is the significance of tapasya? Why we do what we do in Paryushan? So this session is designed to help you answer all the basic Q&As about Paryushan. And then we have, if you can see the screen, we also have some slides there. Essentially, these slides would be like in between. If we have some take away messages for you, we'll play those slides as the questions come in along. But to begin with, I think the first and foremost question which we have to Shramni is, and it's obvious, like, what is Paryushan? And why is Paryushan celebrated very differently than the other festivals which we see, like lights in Christmas or Holi and Diwali? We have like so many sweets and all of those things. And here we have a celebration of a festival in which we are actually going away from those worldly things. So Vandamis, can you tell us what is Paryushan and its significance and why we do it this way?
So firstly, let us know what is Paryushan. As the word says, Paryushan is made up of two words, that is Pari and Ocean. So Pari means near and Ocean is a linguistic root word which means to reside. So Paryushan is a festival which motivates us to reside near our soul. So Paryushan is a festival where we come to closer towards our soul. And the very next question that you asked, that is a very great question, even prompt my mind, that why do we celebrate Paryushan in such a different way? So the basic thing about this Paryushan festival is we are human beings. That means we are a combination of soul and a body. So whatever other festivals are there that we celebrate are actually related to this world, to our body. But Paryushan is a festival which is celebrated for our soul. So when it comes to know about our soul, when we come to know what our soul is, what virtues does it get, so our soul is a complete entity which does not require any kind of food, any kind of outer celebration, or any kind of makeup, or any kind of such things. So we celebrate this Paryushan festival in such a way that we fast, we do meditation, we do jap or chantings, we do swadhyaya, that is learning good knowledge, and in this way to upgrade our soul, promote our soul, we celebrate this festival in a different, and I would say in a very different manner.
And I want to add that how this pollution starts when there is the after summer we know there is rainy season. So in that rainy season, according to the lifestyle of monk, they have to stay somewhere, because in rainy season there are so much growing of the living beings outside. So there is a ritual of the monks and nuns to stay somewhere. So this Paryushan means to have a stay at somewhere. For that it was started. And now we can celebrate also, not only to stay for some time in a particular place, but also to stay within ourselves.
Thank you, Vandami. And I think that was excellent. That why we celebrate it differently. It is important to know that we as Jains believe in soul. We all believe that we are a conscious being. And a lot of times we do question that how do we believe that I'm a soul, I'm not just the body? And Jainism
Right.
has a lot of perfect answers for it. And we'll get into those as well. But just for the audience, that this celebration is for the soul, and we specifically do Ratnotray. That is, Ratnotray is a word which means Ratna means jewels, and Tray means three. So there are three jewels of it, which is like right faith, right knowledge, and right conduct. Right means balanced. So it's Samyak Darshan, Samyak Gyan, and Samyak Charitra. So we kind of praise those virtues. But they have individual, a lot of emphasis is given on the word forgiveness, right? Importance of forgiveness about the Paryushan. So can you tell me, Shamji, why non-violence or the practice of non-violence is important? And as you referred that the monks are not traveling outside during the rainy season. Obviously, we know that rainy season is the season of growth, it's season of green. A lot of trees, a lot of plants, animals. Everyone in that season has everything in bounty, which means that they are growing, they are proliferating. A lot of bacteria, smaller beings are also in plethora. So a lot of things get bad quickly in Paryushan. So how do we relate this to the practice of non-violence, and why do we practice non-violence in Paryushan, Vandami?
So basically, what does non-violence means? Non-violence means not hurting anyone from our body, mind, or speech. It means not hurting anyone's body, mind, or speech by our body, mind, or speech. Then, as you said, that these moments like this Chaturmas or around the Paryushan timing, it is a green timing. So we avoid moving from here to there, that is unnecessary. So Paryushan means, as Samniji said, residing at one place, not eating more of root vegetables or green vegetables, and thus in this way we can help ourselves in attracting less karmas and doing more spiritual activities. Because if you see yourself, whenever you eat root vegetables, what kind of vibrations we do have inside, and whenever we are having sattvic food, that is simple food, what kind of vibrations do we have inside? There is a massive change inside. So when we follow not eating root vegetables, we actually follow ahimsa. When we follow not eating raw green vegetables, we actually follow ahimsa. So this is a time when we save our energy from not doing any kind of unnecessary things which is not required, and saving that time and exploring us from inside and doing more of some spiritual activities.
Thank you, Mandami. And for our audience, I think this is a time where we give our soul a vacation. So that's an 8-day vacation for
Yes.
the soul. So we are giving the soul a break from constantly observing and getting indulged in activities, whether it is mobile phones, our college, our classes, our work. So all of this needs a break. So Paryushan is a perfect time which Bhagwan Mahavir has given us in order for us to kind of take a vacation from all of the everything which is going on the sansar and focus on inwards towards us. So last day of Paryushan Vandam, we call it Samvatsari. What is the significance of that day and why that day is so important?
Samvatsari means annually. One day in a year is called Samvatsari. So Lord Mahavir stated this for the monks and nuns, that during older times there may be some chances when the nuns and monks do not get a good place to reside or stay for a longer span, for a say for 4 months. So Lord Mahavir said that even if the Chaturmas starts and you do not get a good place to stay for a longer span, you can walk. You can walk till Samvatsari. On the day before Samvatsari, you have to reside somewhere. At least after that, you cannot walk. You cannot go barefoot. You cannot walk for any kind of things. You just walk for your gotsri or the food availabilities. So for that, Samvatsari means an annual day which is celebrated for their own soul. Means avoiding any kind of outer things which is unnecessary, even for a monk or a nun residing just at one place for some days, maybe like 2.5 months, and probably celebrating this day, just doing an internal journey. It means he emphasizes stop your outer journey, just focus on your internal journey. Do not go for eating, drinking, or any kind of unnecessary talking stuff. Just go inside, have a self analysis. What kind of aversion and attachment connections that you made with any other beings or over all over the world, any kind of living beings? Whom did you hurt? Whom did you say something wrong? Whom did you for whom did you thought something wrong in your mind? So have a self analysis and protect yourself from them. Do kshama yachana, do khamat khavna, and this on this particular day, just reside with yourself, with your soul, doing nothing else. So Samvatsari means an annual day, a year annual day, one day in a year.
And as we know that Lord Mahavir has established four dharma tirth, right? So not these all rules also apply for Shravak and Shravika, who with their limited vows can go with that.
Thank you, Mandami. I think I was going to come to that, that yes, we know that the monks follow the order, but what about Shravak and Shravika? And then what is Shravak and Shravika? Technically, a lot of us know, a lot of us may not know what Shravak and Shravika refers to. So I can explain it to the crowd. Then there's a four-dimensional order, which was established by Bhagwan Mahavir Swami. The sadhu and sadhvis were the ones who have taken the diksha, or they've accepted the monkhood. Initiation. And Shravaks and Shravikas are layman people, the people who are Jains, but they're still in the sansar, they're still in the activities, they haven't left the world yet, but there's still some guidelines which we follow. And many times we use them as laws, or you have to do this or not. No, Jainism is not about enforcing anything. It is all about you getting to know yourself and your soul, and nobody's forcing you to do anything, but these are guidelines.
Right.
If you do them, it is very blissful for your soul, and hence we do that. So I think, Vandami, with that, the next question which comes to my mind, specifically in terms of there is a festival of Das Lakshan which follows after Paryushan, right? So what is the Paryushan, the difference, and how is it celebrated differently between Jains?
Yes, as I have said, that the Samvatsari day, right? The one annual day. So it is our good fortune. We follow Anekantvad, and some sect, the main day is the same, Samvatsari. Some celebrate before that and some celebrate after that. You might know that the last day, like we celebrate Paryushan for the previous 7 days, and the last day, which is called Samvatsari, we do the fast, and thus Lakshans vary starts from that day. So that is the first day, and then they celebrate the further following 9 days. And in it also, like Uttam Kshama, Uttam Madhav. Uttam Kshama means forgiveness, and Uttam Madhav means humbleness. Like 10 types of dharma, religions are described there to follow. So that is the basic things of Das Lakshan. Das Lakshan means 10 characteristics of dharma.
Perfect. So I think Vandami, now we know that there is Paryushan, there is Das Lakshan, so there's actually almost like
Yeah, we
17
have 15 days to celebrate.
15 days to celebrate. So that's again, if you want extended vacation, if you're the Digambar sect, you can start with the Paryushan day, and you want to extend it for 10 more days for your soul's vacation. You can obviously do the Das Lakshans as well. We as Jains, we should be respectful and following all of these 15 days very religiously and orderly. But again, we are young professionals, Mandami. We are young Jain professionals, and we have offices, we have colleges. There's not that we can actually take vacation. So, what is your advice to us? Like, how do we, as professionals who are going day to day office, etc., follow the Paryushan during these days?
Yes, very good question. You have said that we are professionals. So I want to ask you, what is the definition of being a professional?
Good question. Any people who want to write in the chat? What do we think professional means? I think I'll tell my definition myself. I think for me, the word professional means, you are efficient, you are good at doing certain things, and you're considered an expert in that. So when we say a computer professional, that guy is a expert or a pro and I think the pro word comes from that as well. So proficient or professional is what it means. So you're expert at it. So if you're being young professional, I think we are expert at being young, I guess. I don't know. Just kidding about that.
Yes,
But yeah,
very,
that's what
very good
professional means.
answer. The
Yeah.
one point I want to take, that being expert, right? So, there are 8 karmas, and without the lightness of those karma, you cannot go ahead even in your professional life. Just for example, we want capabilities, right? So, who are Namo Arhantanam, who have explored their 100% potentiality. So, all Tirthankaras, I think, no, nobody is more professional than them, because professionalism itself says to do work with perfection. So for the professionals also, we should customize our self, soul, because if we do not customize our soul, if you are ego, if you are in anger, if I ask a question that if you are joining a professional course of personality management, so they will tell you how to work with your ego and anger, because it will affect your professional life also. So obviously, what is Jainism? It is not Svetambaratva or Digambaratva. It is to lessen the attachment. What is attachment? Ego is the root cause of attachment. To work on your attachment, to work on your greed, anger. So being a professional, it is also very much important, because we know Paryushan means to reside within our soul. The 12 types of nirjara, whether it is upvas or 6 types are external. If I have to describe the another 6 types which are internal, you can say meditation, self introspection. So when you do self introspection, then you come to know that where you are right and where are you wrong. And also the upvas, and they have also their value. We will proceed there too.
Yes,
Hmm.
absolutely. I think so. Thank you for starting with that question. And to the young professionals, I want to say that for as I was growing up, not I mean, afterwards I was very interested in Jainism, but before, for me, like the standard thing which I would know about Paryushan was, okay, last day upvas karna hai. So we have to do the last day upvas and pretty much try to do pratikaman every day when we are coming back from office, etc. And try to observe some kind of fast during that, whether it is Ekasna and Aimbil. And based on how much capacity or willpower we develop, we would do that, right? So for professionals, I think these are kind of layman or common terms. And I thank you, like everybody who responded for the question. If you have, I see some of the hands up. So if you have any question, you can write it in the chat, please. So please go ahead and write it in the chat. We'll, for the sake of participants and like voice crossover, we'll just take up the chat. We'll not have you unmute. So you can write your questions here. But then continuing with that question, let's, Vandami, can you tell us actually, like we heard about the right conduct, right faith, right knowledge, right? So what are the practices we start with, which relates to right conduct? And I have some slides by Vandami's as well. So in Paryushan sadhana, what are the things which we do for the right gyan or right knowledge? And why do we do them?
The first thing Why should we have right knowledge? Why did Lord Mahavir said right knowledge? Why did not he say just knowledge? So what is the reason behind having samyak gyan, that is right knowledge? So I would just illustrate an example. There was a village man, and he fell ill. So he went to a doctor in a city, and he said, I am having these kind of illness. So the doctor suggested him, your illness is little severe. I'll give you some injections. You go and have these injections and follow some proper diet. You'll be cured soon. So the villager took the injections, came back to home, and he was like little bit scared that injections are of course not give does not give us good
Right.
experience. So he was like, he saw there was a bottle inside the injection. So what he was thinking, I just need to take this bottle, get that medicine inside my body. So what's the point even if I drink it by through my mouth? So you are a doctor or you are a scientist, so you know. So what is the difference between if I inject that medicine inside, or if I take that medicine through my mind, through my mouth? So there
Correct.
is a difference. So he had a knowledge that medicine should go inside our body, but he did not have the right knowledge that it should go inside my body through that injection and not through my mouth. So this is the reason why we should have a right knowledge. The villager took the medicine through his mouth, and of course he died, because that medicine, that nectar became a poison to his body. So
Wow.
if we do have right knowledge, our the nectar the poison even becomes the nectar. So if he had the right knowledge, that poison which was becoming a poison when he took it from his mouth should have become a nectar if he had injected the same. So right knowledge gives us the right direction, right perception, that what is correct and what is not correct. So during Paryushan, even I would say we should not confine our spiritual practices just to 8 days. These 8 days are a preparation for to give you a taste for the whole year, that what you can do, what how you can promote your spiritual activities for the year. So basically right knowledge is gained from swadhyay. Swadhyay again means swa adhyayan, reading ourselves. So how should we know ourselves? The agamas that has been told by Lord Mahavir, the spiritual books that have been uh, given by our acharyas are a good source to have swadhyay. And of course there are some technical terms which you generally cannot understand as a whole when you just read it by yourself. So you can attend sermons even personally or at a remote, but attending those sermons can be a simplified form of right knowledge, and you can understand something, and of course you can even ask them.
And I want to add, just to think that if we want to become an engineer or doctor, minimum we should study for 17 years, right? If in class 6 you are saying that why this happens, teacher will advise you to read more. So again in spirituality, many questions we raises. How to, why to do tapasya, why to do, what will we get? For that you have to do swadhyay. You have to attend sermon. Lord Mahavir himself says, Appana sacha mesejja. Don't believe in my words. Seek the truth. And for finding the truth, you have to do research. And how would you do research? The research of canons are called swadhyay. When you attend sermons, you have the knowledge. Then if you don't attend sermon, if you don't do swadhyay, then how can you think that my answers will be solved? It's a logical question. So that's what
Absolutely,
I
Vandana. I
say.
mean, I think the what you said, "Appana sajjame sajja." Very recently came across this line, which means "Swayam satya khoje" or find your own truth, which also means question everything what you know. So you just don't have to believe that, oh, because my parents are saying certain things, I have to do it, and it is such a pain. No, you need to know why these things are done. And we have seen a lot of benefits in terms of health, in terms of other activities, of fasting, of eating, not eating after sunset. In fact, my gym instructor says that if you want to be fit, you want to do that. But there is much more and much deeper concepts in Jainism why we
Of
practice these
course,
things.
yes.
These are just like side benefits of it, as we know, but
Yes.
more it is a focus on the soul. And this
Yes,
word
it's
apna sajj mein sijja, I feel that it should be on the science textbook, because this is the
Yes.
purpose of science. So as a scientist, we are always seeking truth, right? And I personally, I am a scientist, so I am into cancer diagnostics. So when we approach a problem, I think we do observations, we do experiments, we do conclusions from those experiments, and then we proclaim that as a truth, not because my dad said it, right?
Mm.
So in the same way, I think one of the takeaway from today's session is Apna Sajja Me Sajja, which means seek your own truth. Find your answers. Go to a swadhyaya. Maybe if you understand a little bit, go to somewhere where you can understand in the language which you understand, right? So today we put the session in English because we feel that we can connect with our professionals here in English better, right? So that's one goal for it. Vandam, you were saying something. Go ahead.
Yeah, being a professional, I want to appeal that it should be a task you should take, that to make research on these things. Like simply when somebody asks that why we believe that there is water in fire being, so why not take as it is a research matter? Then we can find the answers, I think. Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. So I think moving on to our next question, and kind of a next topic within the Paryushan. So the next thing which comes into the mind is right faith or right belief. And then can you elaborate more how we practice the right belief in this festival?
yes. Of course, as Lord Mahavir said, there are three paths to salvation, to moksha, that is right knowledge, right belief, and right conduct. So right faith, according to Acharya Sri Mahapragya ji, is a pool between right knowledge and right conduct. So many a people, even all of us, has a question to ourselves that we know many things, but we do not follow. What is the reason behind I cannot follow all the spiritual activities that I know? As even if you have heard about Mahabharat, the Duryodhan says, "Janami dharmam nachame pravritti, na janami adharmam nachame nivritti," which means I know what are religious spiritual things, but I cannot follow them. And even I know what are non-religious things, what is violence, and I cannot stop them. So, what is the reason behind this? Because he did not have the faith on them. Means he knew what is dharma, but he did not have the faith what that dharma will bring me good fortune or good things, and it will shed my karmas. So actually right faith is a I would say is a boom for us. If we have a right faith on right, our knowledge becomes right automatically. And if we have deeper right faith, our knowledge will change into conduct. If we see greater saints or our acharyas, how do they follow such kind of spiritual activities? How they engage themselves all the time in spiritual activities? Sometimes you people may find it boring, but they have a right faith in it. They have a right faith that I have that ability to always forgive others. I have that ability to not to answer my thirst questions or my hunger questions. I can do tapasya. So this right faith actually bridges between right knowledge and right conduct. So chanting mantras, having self-analysis, like what am I doing? I am really not capable of doing all the things that I know. And we find, yes, of course, we can do other things as well. We can raise our capacity to not I won't say 100%, but 10%, 20%. So this can be done only if we have self analysis, and of course we will get the power from mantra chanting, and thus this our right faith will help us to convert our right knowledge into right conduct.
Perfect answer, Vandami. And I think belief is so important. I'll give you one
Yes,
example from our experiments which we do. So we have a drug and we tell that, okay, this is a drug which cures headache, right? And then when we are doing clinical trials, we give 50% people that drug which cures the headache, and 50% people we give placebo, which is a sugar pill. Okay.
Yes.
Now you would be
Yes.
so surprised. Then out of the people who are just given the sugar pill, they are told that they are giving a medicine for headache. At least most of the time, at least 15 to 20% of the people, their headache goes away just by the sugar pill. And I feel that this is an impact of
Sorry,
placebo
Arpit
or
is in
belief.
the
So I think this is, a wonderful example that your belief plays a very important role in whatever your being is. So I think this, belief gets stronger by practicing Naukar mantra, by, self-analysis. So it is the time of the Paryushan where we go through with and think about the activities which we do day to day, kind of take a pause and understand that what our perspective brings to that, and whether what we are doing, we really believe in it, right? If you're passionate about your job, you're happy. If you're not passionate about your job or you believe in what you do, may not be so happy, right? So I think that's wonderful, Vandami. I think then next is we move to the right conduct, right? But before that, I want to start a poll. So Shika, can you help me launch the poll? So we want to see like how many of you have done some kind of tapasyas, and then maybe some of you haven't. But let's see how many of you have. So Shika or Apurva, can you launch the poll? All right, perfect. So if you have done one or more day of upwas, that's the first option. If you've done ekasana, beasana, aimbil, and not yet, which means that we are very hopeful that you will do it someday. So, this is the session where we'll tell you like how to start and how to go about it.
Getting a lot of responses, so I'm gonna give it a
We're getting a
moment.
lot of responses, but we want everybody to respond. Like this is the session for you. So hopefully everybody can click that poll and give your answers.
We're gonna
We'll keep it for 30 more seconds.
I think we can give it one more minute.
Okay.
I see around 25 people participated, but I want to see if we can get closer to the 40.
Yeah, we'll want you guys to click more. And then while we are at it, Apurva, can you post the link of, we have created a spreadsheet.
Yes.
We're tracking everybody's tapasyas. And then last year we have received almost like 600 responses on the tapasya from young Jain professionals, almost 180 upwasis. Like there were a couple of attais. I myself did 8 upwasis for the first time. It was an amazing experience. And a lot of us did like last day upwas, IAMBILs, etc. So thank you for young Jain professionals for doing that. And we are posting this link in the chat where you can actually log your own tapasyas as well. So Apurva will be posting a link right here. And then we will be launching the poll as well. And I see a lot of questions in the chat as well. We will be coming back to them. And I promise you guys will take those questions in the end as we're going with the flow of this session. While the poll is on, maybe we can take one question from Neil, which is Paryushan importance was first described by Lord Mahavir or Lord Adinath. So again, the closest to us were Lord Mahavir, which were the 24th Tirthankar. But was it also described by Lord Adinath, or whether they started it? So that's a good question, Vandami.
Yeah, simply if logistically we think that we are, as you have said, we are more closer to Lord Mahavir, and it is also Acharya Shri Mahapragyaji's book Mahaparva Paryushan. It is written that the system of Lord Parshvanath's time somehow different, and Lord Mahavir's time was somehow different. So all we have, we are discussing about Paryushan. Most probably, I think it is from Lord Mahavir times, as we are discussing. At the time of Lord Adinath, maybe the situation in what form they are celebrating, that is a matter of research.
Absolutely. So I think, Neil, to answer your question, contextually, what we know is all the Tirthankars were establishing the religion in the same order, but what it was called, what was taught at that time, for example, we talked about the 4 orders of Bhagwan Mahavir's Dharma, which is Sadhu, Sadhvi, Shravak, Shravika. In Parshvanath Bhagwan's time, we only had 2 orders. So there were different kind of practices and rituals for the same dharma were present. And that's why there's multiplicity of the opinion. So Paryushan, as we know, arrives from Bhagwan Mahavir's preaching, but there could be a lot of things which have been done in Bhagwan Adinath's time, which will be very similar, but what we call as Paryushan in this current form is coming from Bhagwan Mahavir. So now I think it's time to end the poll. Let's see what we have the results here. Sharing the results. All right. Okay, so 69, 70% of the people have done one or more days of upvas. That will make Shramni ji is really happy. So you see that there are a
Yes.
lot of tapasvis here. There are people who have done ekasana, byasanas, and ayambils. And the people who have not yet done, thank you for being honest, putting it out there. And we hope that this session can actually help you in some way at least to kind of motivate you to do a tapasya. And of course, we're not forcing you to do it, but it's just if we can motivate, that would be great. So I think thank you everybody for the poll. So that will drive us to the question: what kind of tapasyas we do in Paryushan? And that's our next question to Shamniji's.
So tapasya, what does the word tapasya means? First, let us know it is not about just not eating or not drinking. Tapasya means swayam ko tapana, to burn ourselves. So what we need to burn is our karmic body. So what are the sources of tapasya can be? As you say, someone may ask that why Jainism says hurt your body, don't eat, don't drink. What is the reason behind hurting ourselves? So the thing is, it is not hurting ourselves or our body. Just an illustration I would like to give. If you want to boil the milk, how will you boil the milk? You'll pour the milk in some utensil and you'll actually heat up the utensil. This will help to boil this will help the milk to boil itself. So in this way our body is an utensil for our soul. So if we want to boil our karmic body, we have to heat up our this body. So we need to do tapasya. So tapasya just does not mean not only avoiding eating or drinking, any kind of thing which heats up our karmic body is tapasya. So as we all know, upvas, ambil, ekasan, byasan, of course this is a kind of tapasya we can do for 7 days so that we can prepare ourselves for upvas on the 8th day. Again, other than that, as the slide says, restraint of food items. As you all know, dravya sima can be a tapasya if you are limiting yourself to maybe 3 or 4 food items per meal. So this is again a big tapasya. Pratyakhyan means if you have done your one meal, like if you have done your breakfast, you are not going to eat something for maybe 2-3 hours. So for that space of time, you can do pratyakhyan of tivihar, chavihar, like I'm not gonna eat. I'm resolving hardly that I'm not going to eat anything for next 2 hours, 3 hours, or maybe any kind of time span. So of
Vandami,
course, no nice
on
meal.
the
Yes,
sorry to interrupt, Vandami, because the fourth word pratyakyan, I want
yes.
to understand what pratyakyan means and then why it is so important. Sometimes when I do upwas and when I was a little kid, I was doing these upwas, but I was not taking pratyakyan or pachkarn or the vows, right? I would do it and I was like, okay, ho gaya. If I can do it all the way, that's fine. And then till 5 o'clock, I'm not eating, I'm good, and I'll do it. So what is the difference between doing it with pratyakyan and what is pratyakyan and without it?
So there is a great importance of Pratyakhyan in our religion as propounded by Lord Mahavir. See, sometimes, for some instance, we have to understand if there is a hurricane outside and our house is filled up of dust. Now I think I should clean up all the dust. So what is the first thing I'm going to do is first I need to shut my door and windows, right? If I shut my doors and windows, so there is no chance if there is another hurricane or any kind of windy area, windy weather, so no kind of dust is going to come inside my house. So Pratyakhan is stopping or closing all my doors of karmas, all the windows and doors of karmas. So again a question, if I resolve hardly, resolve with my willpower that I'm not going to eat anything for say 3 hours, but again there is a chances you may. So to avoid that chance, we need to do pratyakhan. I was just analyzing these things like you asked. Many people ask us the same question: why to do pratyakhan? So as we discussed in the summer camp as well, I would just illustrate the same thing here. Suppose you have a restaurant, you own a restaurant, you make food items there. What kind of customers do you allow at your restaurants? Anyone who is from USA? Yes, Arpit ji. Whom would
So
you like to allow? Of course, anyone who is from USA, you will
yes.
allow. If someone is coming from South Africa to USA, of course, if he comes to your restaurants, you will allow. Anyone from Singapore, maybe Holland, Poland, even from the cornermost area of this world, if he's coming to your restaurant, you will allow him some food. So what is the thing? Actually, you are making your food for each and every being on this earth, each and every human being on this earth. Even the living being, even the human being is not consuming it today, but you are making him. If the chances becomes, if there is a coincidence that that person comes to America, comes to your Miami, comes to your restaurant, you will serve the food. In the same way, Lord Mahavir said, in this whole world, whatever things are being produced, if we do not have pratyakyan, if we do not stop having them, we are actually incurring karmas, some kind of karmas, even if you are not consuming those things. So doing pratyakyan means stopping those kind of incurring karmas which we are not consuming, we will not consume, but we are stopping that chance, that in case if there is a chance we can consume. Like if someone orders a dress for you from India, you are not going to India now, yeah, even you are not helping the producer to produce something for you, but if your family members ask from you, from there to you, that this is a good dress, would you like to purchase, what you will say? Yes, purchase this for me. So you can say, I am here, I'm not going to go India for a couple of months, so why I am incurring those karmas in this way? Even if you are here, you can encourage or appreciate those karmas. So that is why we need to do pratyakyan. So as I said, if there is any kind of uh, upashraya of sadhu sadhvis, if there you open a restaurant, will it work? Of course, it will not work because the sadhu sadhvis have the
Never gonna. Yeah.
pratyakyan that they won't go to hotel and eat. So in this way, this is a very gross example. Like if you're going out for some holidays, do you have limited expenses of electricity even if you're not using it, right? You're not using it, but you are having limited expenses of electricity. In the same way, even if you're not having eating something, wearing something, some clothes or some watches or some shoes, but you are incurring some kind of karmas because for your nimit, because of you, some things are made all over the world. So this pratyakyan has a great importance. If you do pratyakyan, of course the producer will not have the knowledge that you have done pratyakyan, but your soul, your karmas, your karmic body will have the knowledge that that this person has done pratyakyan, and so and the karmas should be incurring less. So in this way,
I see.
pratyakyan has great importance. So if you have done your eating, you are not going to eat for say 3 hours, 4 hours. Even if your best friend says, "Can you have a meal with me? Can you come along with me?" You will say, I'm full. I'm full stomach." But he'll say, "Please come to me because I am empty stomach." You will go and have it. But if you have pratyakyan, you won't, you will go maybe, but you won't have it. So in this way, we escape ourselves from incurring more karmas if we follow pratyakyan. Like we when your people ask us, you can do sadhana at homes as well, but why do you come here? Because pratyakyan creates an environment of spirituality. So
Wonderful.
this
I
is the
think, yeah.
importance.
Thank you, Mandami. Wonderful. I think Pratyekhan equals to like taking the vow, which means that you're making your will strong. So I think
Yes.
that's kind of, the message for us, that if you want to build your willpower, I think you take a vow and then commit to it and then make it happen. I think that's, as a
Yes.
professional, we commit to a project. So just like that, when you pick up the project, you pick up the upwas, you say that I'm going to do it, and I'm starting the sunset today, that I'm going to do it, and I'm continuing the upwas, and that kind of breeds in the willpower in you and then makes your will so strong. So thank you, Vandami, for explaining that very wonderfully. So there are like other two items. I think no night meal and unodari. So go ahead with those, and then I think we'll move to another question.
So someone asked him, I saw the chat, that why should we avoid night meals? Why should we avoid Ratri Bhojan? So, if I talk about Lord Mahavir's time, because of extreme darkness, people cannot see if there is something, if there is any bacteria or any kind of living being in our food or not. That is why he said not to eat anything after sunset. And of course, our digestion needs sun rays to digest properly. So, of course, that is also a reason not to eat at night. And again, if I say scientifically, if you want to strengthen your mind, have a sharp mind, you should not eat after sunset, because if you eat after sunset, your energy will be confused that where should I go and work first? Should I digest the food, or should I relax the mind, or should I strengthen the mind, or should where should the energy kept? So no night meal will help to have you a good body and develop your spirituality as well. So Lord Mahavir said, of course, do not have a night meal. And if I talk about unodri means eating less than what is required, doing less what is required. So even if you cannot do big tapasyas, you cannot do ekasans, biasans as well. Even you cannot do navkarsi as well. Lord Mahavir said, do unodri. Eat one or two bite less than what is required to you. Even that is a big tub, because you have your favorite meal at your hand. Of course, you'll eat more. But
I
in
think
that
that's
case,
harder than everything else. Then when once I start,
yes, yes.
it's harder than upwas, because if I start it and then I want to finish it, right? So yeah,
Yes. So do Unodri, and not just for food items, for your clothing as well, for your passions as well, for your desires as well. It is not always it is not always good to follow all your desires. At least you do Unodri for one desire a day. That is even a big thing, big step towards your soul. So Unodri does not just limit us to eating items, but all kind of favorite things that you have in your life.
wonderful, wonderful. And then about the no night meal, I think that's something which was, as growing up was easy for me. So at least during the Paryushan, if I was like I was a young kid, 6, 7 year old, I think what I was able to do at that time was to avoid night meals. So that is something which by default, I think I request everybody, if you can, please practice that. We can try to come early from office, finish our meal. If there is doing ikasana or something, if you're doing upwas, great. But at least practice not eating at the night, at least during this time. And obviously, if you can implement it for throughout your life, there are so many health benefits. There are so many other reasons why we do it. Two of the reason Shamji listed. One another reason which I've heard, I'm talking from science perspective, that our body has biological clock, and our clocks are designed to be run by sunlight. So when the sun is rising, our bodies, all the enzymes, all the digestive enzymes are active during the day. And in the night, those enzymes are shutting off. So for even for your body and even for your circadian rhythms or biological clock, I think it's very essential that we practice, not eating during the night. I myself am a culprit. I try to do it not during the Paryushan, but I do, eat at night. But I think that's a good practice. So I would admit that I don't, but I will try to do that. I think that's what I can commit to. So Vandami, other than this, I think there are other practices which we do in the right conduct. What are those, and how do we describe them, and what can we do from those?
So, as I said, that what kind of karmas that we're incurring all day long. So, Samayik and Samvar is a kind of procedure, a kind of process through which we can stop all kind of karmas at a stretch. Like if you go to 12 anuvrats, what kind of hinsa is, what kind of violence is indulged in all kind of vrats, then you will think that how should I stop all of them? That is such a long process. So Lord Mahavir said, if you don't want to go in such a long process, just stop all the karma, all the hinsas, violences, just at a stretch of doing Samaik and Samvar. It's like you are a layman. Some kind of essential violences are required for you. So, how to escape from them? So, of course, you cannot escape from them for a longer span, but for a shorter span, to say like 48 minutes or smaller span of 25 minutes, 30 minutes, you can stop them. So, this is required. If you do this, actually, you build up your spirituality through this. And again, Acharya Shri Mahapragya ji said, if you want to be healthy, do Samayik. How? How does health relates to Samayik? Samayik is just a ritual, a spiritual thing. So how does it relate to our health? So our body, our mind, our mental health, everything is connected to our soul. So Samayik means stopping all kind of 18 types of pap. So these paps are negative emotions. So when you do Samayik, you stop all kind of negative emotions for 48 minutes. Even if someone abuses you, won't react. Even someone insults you, you won't react. Even someone gives you, someone uh, gets angry at you, you will not react. So you stop all kind of negative emotions at that time. And if you're not at Samayik, of course you'll react promptly. So if you're not at Samayik, we actually engage ourselves continuously in attachment or aversion. But during Samayik, you stop all kind of negative emotions. So this, as we know, as the science says, 99% or 90% of the diseases are psychosomatic diseases, which occur due to negative illness, negative emotions that we have inside. So Samayik stops all kind of negative emotions for 48 minutes. So this is a reason for a good health, and of course for a good soul as well. So we should do Samayik and Samvar. If you do not have a time of 48 minutes per day, you can do 10 minutes every day. So 10 minutes every day, 5 days will combine it to a Samayik as well. So the next point being silence or restraint of speech. So you are a young professional. Of course, we cannot say you do a complete silence for the whole day or for an hour, even two. That can be a problem for you. That if you are at your job, how will you do a maun for an hour? So Acharya Mahashramanji says, या तो मत बोलो या ज्यादा बोलो. इफ यू डू नॉट कंट्रोल इन बिट, अगर तुम दोनों ही नहीं कर सकते तो बोलने का विवेक रखो. यानी डोंट स्पीक अननेसेसरी वर्ड्स. जस्ट रिस्ट्रेन योर स्पीच. वाणी संयम रखो. क्या बोल रहे हो, कितना बोल रहे हो, किसको बोल रहे हो, सोच समझ के बोलो. सो दिस इज रिस्ट्रेंट ऑफ स्पीच. Meditation, we all know that calms our mind, even calms our body, and of course it spiritually uplifts us. Pratikraman has a greater value during the whole Chaturmas. So Lord Mahavir said, even you should do everyday pratikraman, but if you cannot do it every day, do it once in 15 days. That is pakhe pratikraman. Even you do not have time for that, do once in 4 months. But again, we are so lazy, or sometimes we are so busy that we do not have that much time. So Lord Mahavir said, do at least once a year. Do not elongate your laziness or unavailableness for more than a year. If you do not do pratikraman once in a year, you can lose your right faith, that is samyak darshan. So pratikraman is very much required to analyze what have I done and what can be done in a better way, in a good way, and resolution for the next moments that is going to come. So pratikraman is a greater topic. We cannot conclude it in just 1 or 2 minutes, but as we know, it has a greater importance. So we should follow doing pratikraman. And paushad, as we all know, Vandami will say why paushad is required.
Before that, I want to say that pratikraman, it means to see what you have wrongly done. You can simply, practically, you can do pratikraman after 3 hours just to check your emotional stability, that where are you wrong and what, then you can easily, easily correct that situation. Like any disease, if you make it unnoticed, then it will be grow more. So when you do continuously pratikraman, seeing your emotions, so it will be easy for you at the last time, at the after sunset or before sunrise, when you will do pratikraman, you can easily put medicine, emotional medicine, on that on all the emotional tangibility which you undergoes.
Okay, very well put, Vandami, and this is important information for us. There are certain
And one
questions coming out of that as well. Keep going. Yeah.
before that, let me complete one another point, Porshad, which is again very much
Yeah. Yeah.
important.
Mm-hmm.
So, Acharya Shri Mahapragya ji says, if you just do not eat, do not drink, and do your like other works, like complete your other works which were procrastinated by you and the late on the other days. So this is not upvas. Upvas means upavasati, residing near your soul. So upvas is valuable. It has if you do portion, its value increases. Like if you have seen someone who is fasting sometimes get irritated, sometimes get angry. The ones who do longer tapasyas gets angry. Why? Because during tapasya we generate energies, but if we do not channelize them, the energy flows down. So if you do poshan, if you do swadhyay, if you do samayik, if you do meditation, you actually channelize your energy from your lower body up to your brain, and this is actually meaning upvas. So when you do poshan with upvas, actually you put ornaments to your things, to your activities. So posture is very much required, and being a layman, as it is said that at least you should do 124 hour of posture in a year. So posture has a greater value. If we Many of the people in the past have analyzed many or things, and even attend Avdhigyan as well when they were analyzing during their posture times. So posture has a greater value.
Great. Thank you so much, Vandami. And I think everybody, I know that we are coming close to the end of the hour, but I think this is great information session. I want to take all questions as well. So if you guys will permit us like 10 more minutes, that would be great. I think it's for our own benefit. I know if anybody has a restriction of the time, has to go somewhere, that's all right. But I'll request everyone else to please stay. So I think there are some questions, Vandami, which came through as well. And I think one of the question, and I'm reading from the bottom, one question is, can you please provide some, and this is from Shweta ji, can you please provide some guidance on how we encourage our kids to follow Paryushan rules? Okay, I'll say guidelines, Paryushan guidelines. Rules is a scary word. Yes, Vandami.
So there are kind of worksheets that we generally provide on Paryushans that has some kind of points that if you do these kind of activities, you will have some points. So greater points will make sure that you have done good activities. And actually all these spiritual activities is there for making ourselves peaceful. If you want peace, you have to follow spiritual activities. So every religion has some kind of spiritual guidelines everywhere, right? So people follow everywhere, and whenever they follow spiritual activities, they actually get peace. So if you want peace inside, if you want to become powerful, if you want to become beautiful from inside, you have to follow spirituality. So if you can ask your son, your daughter, that if you want to be stronger or powerful, you have to connect yourself with the supreme beings. So those supreme beings are our arihants, our acharyas, our sadhus. So if you connect yourself with them, you get the power. You are more peaceful.
And I want to add another point, that if you provide your kids with the logic that why they don't want to do, if you provide them with the pure logic, they will, I think, more inclined to do that. Simply, why to fasting? So when you do fast, because when you eat, our stomach, the maximum energy is going around the stomach. So when you are fasting, the maximum energy going to the brain, and when your brain activates, you will more value to do your intellectual work. So in this way, if you provide them with logic all the time, I think they are very much eager to know, and one session is not enough. RPG, I think you have to hold
Yes.
an session especially for kids and before Paryushan, so they can motivate it
Absolutely,
for the
absolutely,
kids.
Vandami.
Yeah.
And I think I have shared this sheet on the screen. I don't know, Apur Bhai and everybody, can you see the sheet which Vandami was referring to? I have put the
Yes,
link
they
of
can see. They just have to click on the link and access
yes,
to
and
request.
access the sheet, make a copy. I had this sheet as well. You can see that the youngsters can get points on these sheets, so you can actually give them, reward them. I don't know what that points can be translated into. At the end of the Paryushan, you can always kind of, usually trade them for something which they want, a book or something, whatever, based on the point. But it's a very smart sheet. Even the young professionals can take that and then kind of follow this. You guys get points, and if you guys report back to YJP, I promise we will send you something. So if you have at least 1,000 points by the end of Paryushan, Apur bhai and I'll make sure that you have something sent as a gift.
100%.
You're not able to open the link. Okay, let me see if I can fix that. But I'll send it by the end of the session. We are coming, we'll take few more questions and then we'll come to an end of the session. So I think another question we have is coming from, let me see, scroll up. That's from Sanjana ji. Why does Pratikama do to avoid losing faith? If we start being aware of what we do with our mind, body, and speech, will it compensate for Pratikama? So what they're asking is like, why do we have to do this in order to not lose the faith? And just being aware of what we do in our mind, body, and speech, will it compensate for Pratikama?
Sometimes we actually are not aware of the things that whatever we are doing, is it right or not. Like, I will just give you a simple example. Being a Jain, if your mother cooks for you, what do you say? Mom, what a tasty food, right? We say it. Now, let us know that if we say like this, what are we doing? We are appreciating the violence that is being conducted while preparing the food. Now, these kind of little things we cannot understand if we do not do pratikraman. There are many kinds. Like if you just see a random house and you say that is such a beautiful house, what do? You actually appreciate all kind of violence activities that has been indulged in doing in preparing that house. So in this way, there are many things that we do not know, that what kind of things we are doing, are they spiritual or they are not spiritual but full of violence. So actually just thinking about your mind, body and speech does not give us the proper knowledge that if that our analysis proper or not. So for this, some guidelines has been given in Pratikraman, some kind of things has been described there, that what kind of violences can be done by us. So when we recite all the atichars, all the anachars from there, we'll get to know that yes, I have done this should be avoided. Yes, I have done this can be avoided. So doing that pratikraman, that ritual, actually gives us a good knowledge of what we can do and what can we avoid. So of course, if you're hurting someone, you should say sorry at that time. But there are many things that we do not know. We are doing it just mechanically. So change our mind mechanically, transform our mind. We have to do pratikraman. So it
And
has
I
a
will
great importance. Yes.
Absolutely. And I'll add to it, like, learn what the meaning of Pratikaman is. So when you know, like, it's just recitation versus knowing actually the meaning of it, the translations are available. In English, Pratikaman is available on Jaina website. There's Hindi, there's all languages available. So when you know something and then recite, it changes the meaning of it. And I think that has made a difference in my life as well. When I was doing Pratikaman, I used to go just follow and just sit there and then, just giggle with the kids around and not really focusing on what is going on. But when I realized what the meaning was, it was those 2 hours or 1.5 hour of pratikaman became so important for me. So I think I'll encourage everybody to read about the pratikaman, what the meaning of it is, and then what it is impacting in what ways. So another question from Ayan Kothari ji is, what is the significance of special days like Chaudas, Atham, etc., and why is it different than other days? And now it's Samatsarik, so we see Choma, Samatsarik Pratikaman, or all of these tithis come in. So what is the significance of those days?
So, if if I tell you that when does tides occur, high tides or low tides, if you check the dates, they are very closer. Even they happen on the days of Atham, Chaudas, Tej, Pancham as well, Beej, Pancham as well. So actually, what happens due to some positions of moon, the 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 समुद्र की लहरों को क्या बोलते हैं?
Waves of
Yeah,
The waves
waves
of,
of the ocean, the
yes,
tides. Yes.
the waves of
the sea, the
the
tide and
ocean, they actually go out, they go up or they go down. So in the same way, our body is made up of water, 75%, 80% of water, right? So even some of the positions of moon even encourages those water to wave up or wave down. So in this way, if we stop eating green vegetable food which is full of water on those days, it will actually help us, help our patience, help our passions to go down and do not rise up. So during Atham and Chaudas, Lord Mahavir said to do upvas, do poshad, ashpari poshad. So maybe if you cannot do that much, at least avoid ratri bhojan, at
green
least
vegetables.
avoid green and root vegetables.
And there is also a connected concept of Lavan Samudra, you may heard of it. So at that time, there is a much more wave there. So that is also affecting us. So that time it is said to observe as much as fast you can do.
Perfect. Thank you, Vandami. So in terms of like, I think there are these tithis, right? And one explanation I also heard, Vandami, and if with your permission, I'd like to add about the tithis.
Yeah, sure.
Also about the awareness. Okay. So what happens is these tithis are always occurring in a gap of 2 days. So it will be Beach, it will be Pacham, it will be Ashtami, it will be Gyaras, it will be Chaudas, and this is how the tithis are working. So what is happening is the day when the tithi is arriving, let's say tomorrow, Chaudas is arriving. So I would be thinking that, oh, you know what, it's Chaudas tomorrow. So I'm aware that I have to follow certain rituals on Chaudas, right? So that date is in my mind already the day before. Obviously, on the day of Chaudas, I'm practicing certain rituals. So I'm aware that I'm not eating green vegetables or I'm doing some Poshad Upwas or something like that. The day after, when it is Parna day, we are thinking that again, I did the Parna yesterday, so I'm aware about all of this activity which I've done during the Paryushan. So I'm connected in some way to my Jain values, which I'm following on the Tithi day. Now the next day comes and there is a Tithi another day again. So you see the cycle of 4 days or 3 days was designed in a way for us to be aware all the time. And it is all about the awareness for us. Like it is all about how aware we are of our surrounding, of our jeeves around us, and our value system, etc. There are multiple explanations to some questions, and I thought that this was something which I could add to the explanation, Vandami.
Even there was a research, there is a research that maximum deaths occurs on these days. Maximum accidents occur on these days. So these are very tough days for us. So we actually do tapasyas on these days so that that toughness softens little.
And then this water content in the plants occurs, if you measure them, the water content in those days are higher. So they're absorbing more water. So definitely moon has its gravitational pull. And if you don't know, the tides are actually created by moon's gravitational pull on Earth to the water. So it's a huge celestial body. It has a pull on it. And I think that affects our body's water content in some way. So hence these tithis are also, considered auspicious for us because we want to restrict certain kind of things for those. But again, great question and great reply. Thank you. Okay, so what is the significance from Jatin JNG? What is the significance of boiled water? Are we not killing microorganisms? And this is a question I also had, Vandami. Many times we do sachit achit when we are boiling the water, we make the water achit. But ultimately, when we are boiling it, there is microorganism or the jeev of the water, unka ghat hota hai, or we are actually harming them. So what is the significance of boiled water?
So the thing is, there is constant development of these animals, these living beings inside the water. So when you boil the water, you once harm those animals, but there is not constantly reproduction or constantly generation of these animals inside. So of course there is some kind of violence required at that moment, but you will avoid constant violence if you boil the water before. So this is the reason that once if you have boiled the water, there will be no more reproductions, or I would just say no more regeneration of the animals there.
And being a layman, I want to ask a question. I'm not a layman, to the layman or woman, that is it possible to avoid total violence? No. If it is, you have to take Diksha. Right? So now how to minimize the violence? So obviously you have to drink water, otherwise you should have a monk, and then ask for the exact prashuk water which is not boiled for you. So when you boil, as Samniji has said, you have done the work in a while. Just for an example was always given, that if there is a terrorist and comes and say, I am going to kill any one of you, everybody is going to have the fear. But if he just say, I just want to go particular this person, then all will remain fearless. So if you are eating water without boiling it, you are doing violence, I agree, but constantly that animals are in fear. But when you do once, because you cannot totally neglect violence, so the intensity will decrease.
And again, when you're intaking something, at that time, at least you should not intake living beings, right? When you boil the water, now you are intaking the body of those living beings, but not the living beings. So while you are intaking them, that is why we say do not eat raw green vegetables. So when they are alive, do not eat them.
Thank you, Vandami. And I think, there are a lot of things where we have certain questions. There are a lot of things which are, we know and we have validated by science. But the Jainism is not just about realizing or validating the truth itself. There is a lot of things which we believe as well. So if certain people have said something which are 100% accurate in many aspects, we should give them some leverage in saying that, okay, maybe the other 20% they are saying because they are learned is accurate as well. So there are certain questions which we have different perspectives and answers, but our faith plays a major role as well. And that's why right faith is also important. But I'm getting a lot of good questions, interactions, and there are a few more questions, Bandami. I think we're out of time, but I'll take this one more question, which is from Angi Desaiji. Why should we not kill a mosquito when it is biting us? We are having pain because of it. Why not should we protect ourselves first? Also, wouldn't the mosquito face its own karma for sucking someone else's blood?
He is not so
perspective I
developed.
wanted. Yes.
The second answer is he's not so developed, and you are developed, right? And there is a, you can simply, I'm not saying that you should do, but you can simply make it fly also, right? Without killing is not is the only option. And if you kill, it's nature to bite. But ask yourself, is it your nature to bite again? Then what's the difference between you and the mosquito? Simple answer, we know it attracts our karma, but logically you think, obviously it will attract the karma, because when you kill it, you are killing it because it is hurting you. Who are you? You are not the body, you are the soul. Nothing can bite you. So you can simply make it to fly. And even when Chanda Kaushik bites Lord, why it is not hurting to the Lord? Because we have many dimension. We have a dimension where we can go beyond the body. Anything which is happening with the body, we may come to that stage when biting mosquito does not affect us at all. So that's all the things.
And again, I would like to add something which is a very important thing about Paryushan and Samvatsari as well, that forgiveness is very much required. Forgiveness is very much required. When you do not forgive, like if you kill that mosquito, you are not forgiving that. So what is the thing? If you do not forgive, what you are carrying, carrying a negative emotion, and a single negative emotion can make multiple chains inside you. So it is very important to forgive all the living beings, all the things that is being done wrong to you, because of course that is a result of your past karma, but it is a negative emotion. Lord Mahavir did not bit Chandakaushik back because he knew that hitting back is a negative emotion. I should forgive. So even you should forgive each and every being on this earth, because even if you are living your life, you are hurting many animals, like what on the chair you are sitting, on the carpet you are sitting upon, the things you are using, your house, everything is made up of killing other animals. Like wood, maybe you are killing plants. If any kind of clothes there, you are killing some plants. So actually we are living and we are living on the basis of killing others also. Of course, that is a necessity. So even that mosquito, their necessity of living is depends upon your blood. So if you cannot give them your blood, it's okay, just fly them up. Even if there's someone in the hospital requires your blood, you have a positive blood, what do? Do you support, right? You do not say no, I'll get hurt, I won't support. You support. So if there you can support, why not here? Of course, that may attract some kind of poisonous thing, or you may have some
Malaria.
malaria or something. So it's okay, fly them up. And make sure that no kind of aversion connection you make with that living being. Just forgive, because this is your karma and these are the fruits of your karmas.
So Vandami, thank you. I think it's getting extended. I think one last question is special request that, a lot of vegan diet is going on and Jain diet is practiced. So the question is, which diet should Jains follow? Vegan diet or Jain diet? I know both are coming from the idea of non-violence. Both are trying to not be hurtful to the other beings. But I think the school of thought is different when it comes to Jain versus vegan diet. So some explanation there, and then we'll have the Manglik. I promise you, I'll not have more questions.
No, we
For the
are okay with it. We are really okay with
no, no,
it.
no. I know, Vandam, it's too late. Like it's already 10, 20. So yeah, please go ahead, answer that, and then we'll wrap it up.
It's up to personal choice whether it is the question of Jainism or veganism where you think that there is violence, because why you restrict at only Jainism or veganism? What is our aim? Fasting. What is fasting? Dravya Sima, like restraint of Dravya, how many you less? So it's why not with vegan also? And also you have said that Lord himself says about the Mahavigar, right? So it's a choice, the minimalization of violence.
And veganism also include root vegetables. So we need to understand that eating root vegetables incurs lot of karmas. So you should follow vegan dash, I mean hyphen Jain diet. So
Yes.
Jain diet of course does not include root vegetables. So you should follow, because Jainism also says something about vigor, that is doodh, dahi, shakkar, and these kind of things. So you should avoid them, but also the root vegetables which are allowed in veganism. So you should take care of of both of them.
Vegan foods also include root vegetable, so you can have the proportion that what to choose.
Perfect. Okay. So am I missing any question? Anybody who? Okay, I see one question. I think and I think Anu, that's the question from you. How is it different from boiling eggs, which is in Panchendriya Jeev? Similar question. How dahi or yeast is different? I think you're referring to boiling water versus boiling something which is egg or something. I think I was going to respond to you that egg is a Panchendriya Jeev, which has 5 senses, versus yeast, which is a single cell. So whenever we're referring to senses, sense of touch, sense of taste, sense of smell, the higher your sensors, the complex your neuron system, the complex your understanding of emotions, etc. And obviously killing a plant versus killing a bacteria versus killing a 5-sensed being, it's all violence, right? But at the end of the day, as Vandami said, our goal is to
Minimization.
minimize the violence. So we minimize the violence by consuming less and less of what we need to survive. And I think when we are consuming something which is 5 cents, the violence is like multifold, right? Because they can see you coming, they can sense, they have the neuronal system developed enough to kind of know that. That doesn't mean we should go on and kill plants mercilessly, right? It's also a violence, right? So in both the cases, we choose the less violence. I know it's a boundary which anybody is drawing, and it is a line which people draw. But I think that's the goal for Jainism, is to get closer and closer to the non-violent state. And I think that's a progression what we have.
There are other raised hands,
Amazing.
Yeah, I have Anali and Sanjana. Can you guys type the messages so we can know your questions? Okay, AM says, wouldn't just help to decrease water intake then during Tithis than avoiding eating foods with higher water content? Only question left. I think I can, Vandami, I can take a shot at it if you allow me. I think
Yes,
you know,
yes.
it's not just the higher water content. When higher water content happens in plants or soil per se, the growth of microorganisms and bacteria is higher, right? Even in the tithis, when we are consuming the ekindriya jivas like plant, it's not just one jiva, it's a body formed of multiple jivas. So when the water content is higher, you're actually impacting by eating like leafy vegetables, etc. You're impacting more violence, right? Or taking more lives, right? So we are, again, goal is to minimize the violence. So hence, you know, it's a practice. And again, all of these things are guidelines, right? I am not telling you guys to stop doing all of this thing together, but keep in mind, be aware that when we are doing these things happen. And as and when you can, we can avoid them. Okay. All right. And Sanjana,
You
what
have
is
the eligibility, you can go for fasting. 24 posha, then you can avoid water too. It depends on your capability.
correct? Absolutely. All right. And what if the Sanjana has a question? What if the egg is not yet at the stage of growing a full-fledged chicken in it? Is it still Panchendriya? I'll ask you a question, Sanjana, about that. When somebody is pregnant, 30-day pregnant, do you consider that as a human being or not? And I'll leave it at that because same concept applies to egg, which is fully fledged grown chicken versus in the egg.
Amazing.
All right. Vandamis, please, if you want to add something to it, I just wanted to wrap it quickly. So I was reading and
Yes,
answering at
yes.
the same time. I'm
No,
sorry.
that's, yeah, no problem.
Okay.
So the basic thing that we need to do in Paryushan is minimize our kind of violences, the activities that include violences more, like suppose uh, walking on grasses, playing football games, doing entertainments, watching movies or series. So, if possible, avoid all kind of these things and involve yourself in spiritual sermons, spiritual practices, so that you can have a good taste of peace. What actually peace is. So, if you evolve yourself in this way, actually you're not letting your energy spread in thousand things. You're channelizing your energy, and in this way you will have a good sense of peace, feeling of peace inside. And of course, on the last day, when you have to do upvas, when you have to do fasting, you should know that I am doing fasting for the upliftment of my soul. It is not just avoiding food and water. Like when you're indulged in many kind of emergency things, like if you're in stress, if you have any kind of examination, what do? You avoid meals so that you can concentrate and focus better. So in this way, Lord Mahavira said on that day you have to do deeper analysis of your karmic accounts, where you do not have any hard copies of what kind of aversions connections you made or what kind of attachment connections you made. So you have to analyze it deeply, think it in your mind, and do Kshama Yachana, Kamat Khana to each and every living being. So on that day, if you put your energy in food, water, games, TVs, and all these things, of course you cannot have a good analysis. And if you do not have a good analysis, you can lose your Samyak Darshan, which is a right direction to your goal. So on that day, practice more of meditation, Kamat Khana, deep analysis, and all these things, so you can have a good Paryushan. Happy Paryushan to all of you. Paryushan is knocking our doors, so we'll be there to guide you in any way you want. You can contact us anytime. Of course, in during Paryushans we can be little busy, but as soon as we have that time, we can answer you. So in any way you need any guidance, you can
So
ask us.
to the people who have more questions, Apurva, can you post the chat where we have added Shramniji in the WhatsApp group as well? It's kind of a Paryushan support group. So if you guys have further questions,
Yes, absolutely.
yeah, so you guys can add there and we can continue the discussion on. I see some questions about the monsoons, whether in California, what the weather is different. We would love to chat with you and answer those questions. But as of now, thank you so much, Vandamis, Shamnijis, for giving us this wonderful knowledge about Paryushan. A lot of our questions, curious questions, whether I'm a beginner at Paryushan or a pro at it, were answered. So I really thank you from the YJP community, from the YJP board and myself. Thank you so much for your time and staying up this late with us to answer the questions. And with that, I also want to thank our YJP board who has put in the effort to put this Zoom together. Shikha, Purubhai, Manan, a lot of people out there who are, in the background working very hard to promote the event, to kind of get people together. So many thank you to all of you.
And thank you, Arpit, for an amazing opportunity today with Samini ji. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Apurva. Thank you.
Welcome,
Even
Apurvaji.
Thank
Even
you.
we
So,
are grateful that we can help you out, people, in uplifting your soul or doing any kind of spiritual activities. So that was a great session. We had great questions and answers even. So thank you so much for organizing and inviting us. Even we are very grateful to you.
thank you so much. And I have posted the link to the sheet and also to the presentation. A lot of people were asking such questions. Vandami, without your permission, I shared. But
No,
I
no,
think,
that's
No,
okay.
no,
I
I
think it
think
was.
you have done Appana such a message, so everybody is
Right. Thank you, Mandami. So with that, we would like you to give us the manglik, and then we'll conclude the session. We'll continue the discussion on the WhatsApp group.
So I think these kind of sessions should be taken regularly so that people get involved and know more about this. Thank you. Okay.
Absolutely, Vanda. I mean, we are trying to form a series of these lectures. So we'll have something for Das Lakshan. We'll announce it soon as well, although it's short notice, but we'll try to, add this to the community so they can have it. And then we'll continue. I mean, hoping at least one session a month about a different topic, which we can go deeper into those topics and understand. Okay?
Sure.
Vanda.
मंगल पाठ अर्हंता मंगलम सिद्धा मंगलम साहू मंगलम केवली पन्नत्तो धम्मो मंगलम अर्हंता लघुत्तमा सिद्धा लघुत्तमा साहू लघुत्तमा केवली पन्नत्तो धम्मो लघुत्तमो अर्हन्ते शरणं पवज्जामि सिद्धे शरणं पवज्जामि साहू शरणं पवज्जामि केवली पन्नत्तं धम्मं शरणं पवज्जामि विघ्नहरण मंगल करण स्वाम भिक्षुनो नाम गुण ओळख समरण किया सरे अचिंत्या काम चंदेसु निम्मलैरा आइचेसु अहियम पयासैरा सागर वर गंभीरा सिद्धा सिद्धिं मम दिशन्तु सिद्धा सिद्धिं मम दिशन्तु.
Vandami Nam Swami. And Apurva, I think in the group I shared two links for the Preksha meditation app. I want to tell you guys, I know a lot of us have left, I should have announced it before, but this app is something which can help you with meditation. So this app has some guided meditation practices, some videos out there. There is a box meditation kind of a feature where you can do meditation in the box. And if you guys are interested, Vandami, maybe you can guide us for a 2-minute box meditation or meditation session as well. So we can actually start our Paryushan with meditation.
Okay. So you want box breathing meditation? I can write. Okay.
Yeah, so
sit
very
together.
simple box
Yeah.
breathing meditation. Yes.
Yes. Sit comfortably.
Squeeze it out. Why? Don't do it.
Close
Why?
your eyes.
Don't ask why.
Okay.
Make sure your spine and neck are erect. Close your eyes softly. Breathe in slow and long. Take a long deep breath. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. So box breathing actually helps you to have a balance on your inhaling, holding in, exhaling and holding out. So that box breathing gives you a bell. So when the bell starts, you have to inhale. When the next bell rings, you have to hold in. When the next bell rings, you have to exhale. And when the next bell rings, you have to hold out. So in this way, box breathing will help you to have the same seconds of inhaling, holding, exhaling and holding out. So I will just put on the box breathing through the application so that you can have a good guidance. So I will start. When the first bell rings, you just inhale. When the second bell rings, you hold in. When the next bell rings, hold out, exhale. And when the next bell rings, you hold out. So let's start. Close your eyes, everyone. Inhale.
Hold in. Exhale. Hold out. Inhale. Hold in. Exhale. Hold out. Inhale. Hold in. Exhale. Hold out.
So in this way, you can set your modes. You want to do easy mode, moderate mode, or advanced mode. And you can set your time for say 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, or whatever minutes you want. And this will help you to stay at peace in a wonderful way. So many people are following this, even you can follow.
Thank you, Vandami, and thank you, everybody. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful spiritual and meaningful Paryushan. Hope you are able to connect with your soul, and hope you are able to practice all the values of Paryushan in your these forthcoming days. Thank you so much for joining, and stay tuned. We will have more sessions like this from you for YJP, and thank you, Vandami. Namo Hare.
Arham. हाँ.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Arham अपूर्व जी.
Shika, we can stop recording, I guess, now, and then end the session.